Hello, hello, good morning. This is Jay Nicole from Love to Be Beautiful. Thank you for everyone who clicked on this video and for everyone who came over from social media. I know that your time is important to you, and for you to stop what you're doing to watch my video, it really means a lot to me. A special thank you to those who've been sending me messages of encouragement, who have been finding value in my content, for those who have been following me on social media from the beginning and going along with me on my journey. I just want to say thank you so much. I really want to inspire women to love to be themselves, to see themselves differently, to have a sense of value and purpose, and that will affect future generations. I know most of us have children, and our children and the future is depending on how we see ourselves, how we take care of ourselves, and what we choose to do with our lives. And your choices will change drastically once you know who you are, why you're here, and that you have infinite value. And that's what I want to talk about today. Why we have infinite value and why that value can never be taken from us. So when we were created, we were given a choice to choose life or death, good or evil. And a lot of people wonder, well, why is there evil in the world? Why, if God is so good and he loves us so much, would there be evil in the world? And that's my first point. We've been given the gift of choice, and that's where our value comes from. And you can't make any choices if there's only one choice to make, which is good. If I only wake up in the morning and everything is fine, there's nothing to be changed, there's nothing to do, there's nothing to work on or to improve upon, then where would my choice come from? Without pain, we would be purposeless. There would be nothing to strive for, to fight for, and to improve upon. We would have nothing to do. So you have to understand that your value comes from your right to choose. And a lot of people get caught up in the choice itself and feel like that's valuable. For example, being a mother, being a wife, being a politician, or having a prominent position in society. A lot of people feel like those things themselves are what give value. But actually, it's your right to choose that gives you value. Your thoughts change so much of your reality. Your thoughts are your reality. Your thoughts create your day-to-day life, and what you believe that you can have and not have is what your reality is. So I just want to encourage you to start to think about, why is what's important to you important to you? Why do you choose to be in relationships? I'm not just talking about with men, I'm talking about in general. Why do you choose to be in a relationship with people? What do you gain from that? Why do you choose to do the job that you do? Why do you choose to have children or not have children? Why do you choose to live where you live? All of that is where your power lies. The why in life is where your power lies. That I want to address that gives us value is our ability to speak. We are the only species on the planet with the ability to speak, and that ability gives us our creative power. We are also the only species that is not solely or mostly driven by instinct. We are driven by our emotions, by our passions, by our thoughts. So, if you look at the other species, like trees or birds, what if they were created to be driven by emotions and not instinct? How would that affect the earth? Say, for example, a tree woke up in the morning and said, I don't really feel like being a tree today. I feel like just laying around and not going out and providing homes for other animals and bugs. I don't feel like spreading my leaves and turning carbon dioxide into oxygen. I just don't feel like being a tree today. Or what if a bird said, I'm feeling depressed. I think I'll just stay here and not flutter around and do what I do. Or what if bee said, I'm feeling, not very bee-ish today, and I'm angry at my parents, and I'm frustrated that my spouse doesn't love me or my kids don't respect me, and I'm just going to, stay here and not go pollinate flowers. Like, think about if all of the other creatures on the earth were driven by emotions and creative thinking. The planet would stop functioning altogether. And that's why there's so much suffering in the world, because we've stopped doing what we were created to do. Trees were created to sit there and turn carbon dioxide into oxygen, to provide homes for other animals and bugs, and to do a whole bunch of other stuff that I could probably, research. But you get my point. Bees and birds were created to have a certain purpose, and so were all the other plants and animals and water and everything else that's on the earth. It all has a purpose. And if it stops doing what it's doing, then the rest of the earth stops. So we've got to figure out how that we can hone our creative power and hone our emotions so that life doesn't stop. And think about the difference that you can make if you simply started focusing on what was your purpose. What are you supposed to speak out of your mouth and create out of your mind to change this earth? Think about all of the children that are suffering that could be saved. Think about the slaves in Libya right now that we could go over and save. And I'm sorry, this must be said. People are on social media posting pictures of the people in Libya, about the slave trade. They're like, oh, let me post this picture to bring awareness. Okay, we're all aware, but what are we going to do about it now? If you feel so passionate as to post a picture, then where are you going? What are you going to do? I'm so sick of people just posting pictures and then doing nothing. What's the point of having an idea if it's not acted upon? What's the point of complaining if you're not going to be an agent of change about what you're complaining about? There really is no need for complaining in life. All there is you see a problem and you have the ability, the creative mind, to connect with other people and make that change happen. If you're sick of seeing homeless people on the street and you get mad and like, oh, there's all these homeless people over here. Well, what are you going to do about it? Then stop complaining. If you're tired of seeing children being starved and treated badly, raped and murdered and killed, if you're tired of seeing people be cruel to animals, get off your butt and do something about it. That is the power that we have. That is what we were created to do on this earth, is to change our atmosphere and change what's around us. But if you get up in the morning and feel sorry for yourself and think that your life is so terrible and that you're upset that this person isn't treating you right or that person isn't treating you right or you don't have the job that you want, if that remains your focus, if your focus remains like this, how can anything ever be changed? So that's fine. You're not ready to change the world. You're not ready to go out and save all the starving kids in Africa or even the kid who lives next door to you that you don't even realize is suffering. Okay, fine. But start with yourself. Start to think about why you choose what you choose, why you do what you do, why you think the way that you think, and change it. Do something about it. Start to become passionate about one thing. Just find one thing to become passionate about. And let that be you. Because the better you are, the better everyone else around you is. You create a ripple effect when you start to change. And you have that power that no one can ever take from you. No one can ever take away your right to choose. No one can ever take away your right to be creative and to show up in the world the way that you see fit. You have that power. You have that right. And that is love. That is the love that God poured upon us to say, I'm not going to create you to be instinctual where you're on autopilot. That is bondage. We are free because we can choose. We are free because we can change and morph into whatever we want. We are free because we can affect the earth and affect other people in such a profound way. Maybe God's original idea is that we would be creating other planets and other universes together. I don't know. That's for you to decide and for you to ask him about if that's what you're curious to know. Whatever you're curious to know, Send up your question and get into the mind state of gratefulness to receive your answer. You're not helpless. You're not without answers unless you don't ask for the answer. If you're in a bad situation, if you're in a bad place in your life, then ask how to get out. But the first question you have to ask is, why did I allow myself to be in this bad position in the first place? Do I need to heal from my past? And yeah, probably. You probably had some things in your past that happened to you that caused you, that changed the train of thinking. But guess what? When you change your train of thinking, when you change the way that you show up in the world, that changes the way that other people show up in the world. Especially if you have children. This is critical for us women. This is critical for you. You have to change your thinking. You have to show up differently. You have to affect your children differently. So I want to encourage you today to think about how you want to show up, what you want to create, and also know that that can change and that can evolve. I know a lot of you who've looked at my page in the past or have been friends with me for a while have noticed that I started off wanting to do like a cleaning service. Then I changed to do a network marketing, or I was helping people find products to help their health. I'm getting a degree in nutrition. I'm doing breastfeeding support for women. But all of that was in the vein of helping and supporting women. That was my main vein. And so I can show up and manifest that main purpose in any way that I see fit. Today I'm seeing fit, and I'm seeing the need for me to encourage and inspire women to change the way that they think. But later I could pop up and I could manifest and say, okay, well, I want to help women breastfeed, or I want to help women be better mothers. I can choose however I want to show up, and so can you. You've just got to find whatever your main vein is and go from there. So just to reiterate what I've shared today, you have infinite value because you have the ability to choose. No one can ever take away your right to choose. Even if someone holds a gun to your head, you still can choose. You can choose to do what they say, or you can choose to be shot or killed or whatever. The next thing that gives you unlimited value is that you have creative power to change whatever you want and to create whatever you want. That's what gives you value. And that can never be taken from you. So I want to thank you for tuning in, for joining me, for taking your time to watch this video. And I want to encourage you to leave a comment below and let me know, what do you want to create in your life? What do you want to change, and how do you want to affect the earth? And if you've never thought about that, now's a good time to do that. Now's a good time to think. I also want you to like, share, and subscribe, because there's other women who need to hear this. There's people who need to hear this message. And the more that you comment, subscribe, like, share, the more likely it is that this video will reach other people. So thank you again. And remember, when you love to be you, that's beautiful. And I'll catch you next week. Bye-bye.